G'day guys, how's it going? So in this video, we're going to look at how we can return a single value from a loop, therefore making a loop an expression in Rust. So the code I have on my screen at the moment is just a player scores processor where it gets the first player ID that has a score that's higher than, in this case, 90, and returns that player ID. And then at the bottom, it just prints out if we did find one, therefore it's over zero or zero or higher, then we're going to print out this message. If it doesn't find one, it's going to print out a different message, right? So I'm just going to run this at the moment. And what you're going to see is the first player ID with a score of 90 or over was player with ID 14. And if we have a look, we can see that that player had a score of 95. Cool. So that's what happens if someone has a score of equal or higher. If I set this to 98, which nobody has, and run it, now you'll see it will say no player had a score of 98 or over. Cool. So that's how this little program works. Now, what I'm doing to achieve this though is I'm using a variable outside the loop and I'm setting it to mutable so that I can assign it when I do find a score that matches the criteria. I can assign it here, which is coming from a tuple, and then I can break out the loop, right? The rest of this code is just regular loop code to break out if it doesn't find anything. Then at the bottom, I'm just checking that ID to make sure that it's, higher or equal to 0, and there you go. Cool. So basically, the bit that we want to change is this variable here, right? We want to actually get that value from the result of this loop, making the loop an expression. So instead, I'm going to go let first min score player ID is equal to loop, right? Now, as it stands right now, this is not going to work. Firstly, because the loop is now an expression, therefore it needs a semicolon here. That's the first problem. And then the second problem is when I save this, you're going to see another IntelliSense error down there. And what this is essentially saying, without getting into too much detail, is that we need to return a value from the loop in order to read from it, right? The other thing I got here is that I'm still assigning something that is no longer mutable, right? So we'll get rid of that line there, but we still need to deal with this bit down here. Now, the way that we can do that in Rust is with the break keyword, right? Straight after the break, we can specify a return value. So in the case of this, we want to return the player ID because that's what we were assigning over here, right? We can just go break and pass player ID. And that will actually be fed out through the loop to this variable here. Now, the thing is we have another breakdown here, and we have to basically now have that return an ID as well. But keep in mind that if we don't find anything, we shouldn't return a player ID, right? So beforehand, we were using -1 to indicate nothing was found. Well, we can do the same here. We can go -1, all right? And when we save that, now we've got a loop that's an expression that's returning a value on every break, and therefore it's coming in and basically assigning it to here, right? Other than that, everything stays the same. And if I'll just minimize this bit here. If I now run this, well, you can see we get the same result. Cool. And that is pretty much how you can use a loop as an expression to return a single value. So that's it. I'm going to finish the video here. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.